We always knew there was gonna be a move, right? The St. Louis Blues had the 11th overall pick, the 15th, the 16th, and the 29th. There was no way they were gonna use all of them. They would have to make a trade. And guess what? A trade has been made. The Anaheim Ducks have traded Mason McTavish to the St. Louis Blues for picks 15 and 29. The Anaheim Ducks are now on the board in this 2026 NHL Draft at 15th overall. And Gary Bettman's on my TV screen. They just made the pick. Who did they select? They took Nikita Klepov. Really interesting pickup there for the Anaheim Ducks. But this is all it took to get Mason McTavish off of the Anaheim Ducks right here. Just 15th and 29th overall. You know what's funny? I'm thinking about this like, wait a minute. Could the Montreal Canadiens have not offered up a package that was equal to this in value, or maybe something similar to that? I don't know, man. Montreal has pick number 28. That's definitely not as valuable as pick number 15, but St. Louis had pick 29. They sent that pick over to Anaheim. So if Montreal trades away 28th overall and then something akin to the 15th overall selection, then maybe they could have gotten Mason McTavish, right? I don't know. But anyways, this is the trade that actually went down in reality. Honestly, it's kind of underwhelming when you consider the trade discourse that was surrounding Mason McTavish. Maybe that's just me being nitpicky. At the end of the day, he did go for 2 first-round picks. It feels a little different hearing, 29th overall and 15th overall, because we clearly don't evaluate that the same when we think about it like that. But just saying Mason McTavish for 2 first-round picks adds a level of cloudiness to the definition that makes it feel more grand, I guess. But either way, maybe I am kind of undervaluing what these draft picks are worth as well, because Mason McTavish is a guy that I think a lot of people had mixed opinions about, especially considering how he had performed this season. 41 points in 75 games played and 6 points in 10 games in the playoffs. You might say that these numbers are all right, but then when you think about his healthy scratching and just the ins and outs of the lineup with McTavish in Anaheim, it was clear that he had fallen out of favor. It was clear that maybe there was already a falling out of favor last year when McTavish was in the midst of those contract negotiations. He ended up signing for 6 years, $7 million AAV. Not a super long-term deal, but still a deal that they needed to work hard to get down on paper. Now Anaheim is able to move on. They took themselves a prospect that they seem like they really like in Nikita Klepov, and they have themselves another first-round pick later in the round as well. 29th overall, Anaheim is going to be taking yet another name. They already lost out on their first-round pick at the 18th overall spot. That got sent over to Washington. So the Ducks, they wanted to cash in on the first-round selections over here. They use Mason McTavish as capital to do that. And you can debate in the comment section below whether or not this trade is actually fair. What are these prices? Buddy got benched in the playoffs. Could have had Dorofeyev for cheaper. Okay, that's ridiculous. Holy crap. Pavel Dorofeyev went for 2 firsts and a second, it seemed. So, yeah, no, not exactly the same. Not exactly the same there, but at the end of the day, you can think about the Mason McTavish trade price as what it is. St. Louis, they're getting their Jordan Kyrou replacement on paper. McTavish is probably poised for a pretty big role. We know that St. Louis has enough guys in that middle 20s sort of age range that they want to start getting back to competitive nature. Jake Neighbors was pretty good. You have yourselves Logan Mailloux. Philip Broberg is awesome. And now Mason McTavish is added to that mix as well. Add to this Tynan Lawrence, who was an 11th overall selection in this year's draft. One of potentially 4 St. Louis firsts to be made. Obviously, he ended up being the only one so far. But with that said, you can let me know your thoughts in the comments section. How does Mason McTavish add to this St. Louis Blues young core? And what are your thoughts on the trade price? It's not an arm and a leg. It's the 15th and the 29th overall draft selections in this year's first round. Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. 9. And Bye.